Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we bring you another captivating latest Nigerian movie. Trust me, this film is a masterpiece. It touches deeply on love and self-worth, and there's so much to learn from it. So stay tuned and enjoy this amazing story. The story begins with a beautiful, elegant, and classy boss lady named Matilda and her personal assistant, PA, Rosalind, who is busy with her duties in Matilda's house. Matilda is about to leave for the office, and Rosalind serves her a special morning coffee while collecting her bag as Matilda assigns her tasks for the day. To Matilda's shock, Rosalind announces loudly that she will be resigning. This leaves Matilda surprised and sad. Rosalind has been working for her for years and has always done an excellent job. Matilda cannot afford to lose her. Matilda pleads with Rosalind to forgive her if she has done anything wrong. She even offers to raise Rosalind's salary. However, Rosalind assures her it's not about that. Her own business is growing rapidly, and she can no longer juggle both her office duties and her business. She needs to focus on one, her business. Despite the news, Rosalind praises Matilda for being the best boss ever. Hearing this, Matilda feels sad but knows she has to let her go, recognizing that Rosalind would leave one day anyway. Rosalind then assures her that she will find a replacement, perhaps even someone better, as they both get into the car and drive off. Next, we are introduced to a handsome, ambitious young man named Dream. Despite being a graduate, he is unemployed. Dream lives with a roommate named Dave. On this particular day, Dream returns from job hunting to find Dave cooking, so he waits for the food to be ready. A few minutes later, Dave serves him a meal, and Dream laments his job hunting experience. Despite being a first-class graduate, someone offered him a job for only 50,000 naira a month. Who does that in this economy? He complains. Dave advises Dream not to reject every opportunity since he has bills to pay, including rent, and is responsible for his two younger sisters and his mother. Dream responds that he wants everything to be perfect because he doesn't want to end up selling food by the roadside, indirectly throwing shade at Dave. Dave, catching his drift, reminds Dream that he's a certified chef and a successful entrepreneur, so they are different. It's interesting how guys can exchange harsh words and insults but still remain friends. Back at Matilda's office, Rosalind conducts interviews for her replacement but finds it exhausting. Later, Rosalind reports to Matilda, but the news isn't good. She tells her that all the interviewees were horrible and that none of them were suitable for the job, leaving Matilda disappointed. Matilda warns Rosalind that if she doesn't find a good replacement, she won't be allowed to leave. Matilda even jokes that she might convert her office into a showroom if things work out, leaving Rosalind worried. The next day, another round of interviews begins, and this time a man named Dream shows up. After introducing himself to Rosalind, the interview begins. As Rosalind reviews his qualifications, she nods her head. Could he be the right fit for the job? Let's find out. Later that day, Rosalind excitedly returns to Matilda to share the good news. She has found the perfect candidate. But when Matilda realizes that the candidate is male, she immediately declines, not even wanting to hear more. She insists that she doesn't want a man who will challenge her authority. Rosalind, feeling distressed, pleads with Matilda to at least meet with him first. If she still doesn't like him, Rosalind will continue searching for someone else. Matilda finally agrees, and Rosalind smiles in relief. Their good relationship as boss and PA is commendable, quite unlike other professional dynamics. The next day, Rosalind arranges a meeting between Dream and Matilda. When Dream arrives at Matilda's office, something strange happens. They both freeze for a moment before exchanging pleasantries. Rosalind excuses herself, leaving Matilda to conduct her own interview. Afterward, Rosalind checks in with Matilda to see how it went. To her dismay, Matilda unapologetically rejects Dream, saying he seems too confident and looks like someone who would try to take over her company. Rosalind is speechless and tries to persuade her, but Matilda insists that Dream would be a distraction at work. This leaves Rosalind surprised, as she knows the kind of man her boss typically prefers. I knew there was something between them when they first met. There was a spark, and now Matilda is admitting that Dream would be a distraction for her. That's why she won't hire him. Despite Matilda's refusal, Rosalind continues with more interviews. However, she remembers that Dream was more skilled than she is in many areas, including software and website design, which she has no knowledge of. Realizing this, Matilda suddenly takes an interest in Dream and agrees to let Rosalind leave at the end of the month, but only after she has trained Dream thoroughly. Rosalind, excited, promises to do just that and leaves in high spirits. Meanwhile, back at Dream's house, he continues job hunting online as he hasn't heard back from the last interview. Dave comes out, ready to deliver customer orders, and Dream praises Dave's growing business. When asked about the interview, Dream shares that he's still waiting for a response. He hopes to get the job, as the pay is much higher than anything else he has applied for, and the office environment is beautiful. Dave encourages him to stay positive, assuring him that he has already gotten the job. Later, Dream receives a message. Reluctantly, he checks his phone, only to find a congratulatory message saying he got the job. In disbelief, he wipes his eyes, thinking it might be a dream, but it's real. Overjoyed, Dream jumps up in excitement, although his friend isn't there to celebrate with him. The next day, Dream starts his new job at Matilda's company. Rosalind walks him through his duties and emphasizes how important Matilda's morning coffee is. She likes it with milk, no sugar. The following day, Dream is in Matilda's office. When Matilda asks why he didn't resume his duties immediately, Dream explains that he thought Rosalind was still around. Matilda cuts him off, warning him not to think in her office and to start working right away without waiting for instructions. Dream quickly responds with a "Yes, ma'am." Later, Matilda's friend Sally visits, and after exchanging pleasantries, Sally immediately asks, "Who was that guy I saw on my way in?" Matilda, surprised, replies that it was her new PA, Dream. Sally, being who she is, can't stop talking about him, leaving Matilda to change the topic until Sally is ready to discuss something more important. They both head out for lunch. That night, Dream was up preparing his report for his boss and scheduling all her activities for the day when his friend Dave asked him about his salary. "Is the pay really that huge?" Dave asked, surprised. Dream responded, "The money isn't what amazes me. It's my boss. She's so beautiful and classy." Dave was astonished that Dream worked for a woman. Dream admitted that since the first day he met her, his adrenaline had surged. He was particularly amazed by how well she dressed, which was his weak point. "She's become a distraction for me," he confessed, "but I have bills to pay, so I need to focus on my job." His friend encouraged him to stay focused, and they continued joking with each other as they worked. The next morning, Dream resumed his duties at Miss Matilda's house and served her coffee. He noticed a bag on the table and asked what was inside. "It's food," Dream quickly remembered and explained. "My flatmate, who is a great chef, made it as a special appreciation for giving me a job." Matilda was impressed, but told him it wasn't necessary and that she wouldn't eat it. However, Dream insisted that she should try it since she often skipped breakfast, which is considered the most important meal of the day. After some persuasion, Matilda accepted the food and told him to take it to the car as they prepared to leave. Dream then briefed her on her schedule for the day, including an after-party later on. That night in Dream's bedroom, he couldn't sleep as he kept reminiscing about his boss, smiling uncontrollably to himself. Could this be love or obsession? Dream was falling for his boss, but wanted to maintain his focus on work to avoid being fired. A week later, Dream resumed his duties as usual, but his boss asked him to do something different. Since her driver had an impromptu trip, she needed him to deliver a package. She instructed him to use her car and supervise the delivery to ensure everything was done correctly. As she turned to leave, Dream stopped her to ask if she was okay. She replied that she was fine, but when he offered to get her something for breakfast, she raised her voice, telling him to focus on his task. Later that night, Dream returned to her house to drop off the keys, but she wasn't in the living room. He called out her name but got no response. Considering she might have a problem, he decided to check on her upstairs. He entered her room, unaware that her door was open, and saw her half naked as she was dressing. "I'm so sorry!" he exclaimed, immediately turning away. "Get out!" she shouted, embarrassed. Feeling devastated and confused, Dream returned home. When Dave asked what was wrong, Dream replied, "Guy, I think I just lost my job," leaving his friend shocked and heartbroken for him. The following morning, Dream believed he had lost his job due to the previous night's incident when a call woke him up. Reluctantly, he answered, and it was Matilda. She threatened him, saying, "If you don't get to work in 10 minutes, consider yourself fired." Quickly, he got ready and resumed at her house, bringing her coffee while repeatedly apologizing. She sipped her coffee and stood up to go upstairs, still ignoring him. Suddenly, he heard a scream. Miss Matilda had fallen down the stairs and twisted her ankle. He rushed to her aid. That night, Dream offered to help massage her leg with the ointment he had bought earlier, but she initially refused. Eventually, she gave in. While massaging her, he got carried away and said, "You have very beautiful legs." Matilda was shocked and asked him to repeat himself. He quickly apologized, then expressed regret for the previous night's incident. She admitted it was embarrassing for him to see her that way. Dream assured her he hadn't seen anything, making her feel relieved. Just then, they fell silent, gazing at each other. Their faces inched closer, as if they were about to kiss. But Dream suddenly realized what was happening and pulled away, excusing himself and leaving Matilda with high expectations. Since that day, Matilda had started giving Dream the cold shoulder. She instructed him not to come to her house anymore, but to go straight to the office. Dream tried to bring her breakfast with her coffee, but she didn't even look at him. Instead, she focused on her work and asked about her meetings for the day. As he was leaving, Matilda ordered him to take the food with him, leaving him confused and nervous. Later that day, Matilda and her friend Sally were in her office discussing architectural designs. Matilda was reviewing them when Dream entered, politely interrupting to remind her of a meeting in 10 minutes. However, Matilda didn't respond. When he called her name multiple times, she continued to ignore him, acting like he didn't exist. "Can't you see I'm in a meeting with someone?" Matilda then chased him out of her office. Feeling embarrassed and insulted, Dream quietly left. Sally questioned Matilda, "Why were you talking to a grown man like that?" "If he was serious about his job, he would know the meeting had been postponed," Matilda replied. However, the email confirming the postponement had been sent only to Matilda, not to Dream, so he had no way of knowing. Sally pointed this out, but Matilda brushed it off and changed the topic. Later, Dream was seated in his office when Rosalind paid a surprise visit. After exchanging pleasantries, Dream and Rosalind sat down to discuss work. Just then, Matilda walked in, surprised to see Rosalind talking to Dream as they embraced. "I was busy and waited for you to finish," Rosalind explained, presenting Matilda with a gift she had made for her. Matilda thanked her and offered to drop her off on the way out. Dream stood up to accompany them, as it was part of his job, but Matilda stopped him. "I've hired a new driver, so you're free to take a bus. You don't have to come to my house anymore unless I ask for you," she stated, adding that he should take a few days off. Dream, confused, asked if he was fired. To his surprise, Matilda clarified that he wasn't fired, leaving him in disbelief as they both left. The next day, Dream and Dave were playing PS5 in their living room when Dream expressed his fears and confusion about his job and his boss. He thought they were developing feelings for each other, but Matilda's erratic behavior confused him. "Whenever she sees me talking to another woman, she acts negatively and warns me to focus on my job. When I do, she treats me better," he explained. "I can't tell if it's jealousy or something else," he added, feeling lost. Dave listened, then became serious, advising Dream to focus on the reason he got the job in the first place. "You have a lot of people looking up to you. Women will always distract you unless you know what you want in life," he said. Dream pondered Dave's advice as they continued playing their game. The following day, Dream was at the supermarket buying groceries when he unexpectedly ran into Rosalind. They exchanged pleasantries, and she explained that she was there to make some deliveries. As they talked and got to know each other better, Dream shared his confusion about Matilda's rude behavior towards him. "No, not once," Rosalind replied, leaving Dream surprised. She speculated that Matilda was jealous and didn't like seeing them together, which explained her overreactions. As a woman, she could recognize these signs, leaving Dream shocked and amazed. They greeted each other again before parting ways. Dream, eager to confirm his assumptions and speculations, began to test his theories. That day, Matilda and Dream were in the office during lunchtime, and she insisted on going with him to have lunch. Dream objected, stating that Rosalind was around and that she could go with her. Matilda took offense and warned him that Rosalind no longer worked at the company, urging him to cancel any plans he had with her and focus on his job. She then walked away. The following day, Dream and Rosalind were taking a walk on the street, getting to know each other better, when his boss, Matilda, called. He answered, and when asked where he was, he replied, "I'm taking a walk with Rosalind." Matilda, displeased with their constant togetherness, took offense and ended the call, leaving Dream amused as they continued their walk. Later that day, after the call, Dream reported to his boss's house, where he met her friend Sally, who had always shown interest in him. She welcomed him with a hug and began flirting, making Dream feel uncomfortable. She then brought out her laptop to show him a particular software and design. As he examined it, Matilda came downstairs, looking glamorous as ever, prompting everyone to compliment her. Dream remarked that she looked stunning, which made her blush as they all left. That night, Matilda and Dream returned home from hanging out, and he knelt to help remove her shoes and massage her leg, which was still sore. He referred to her as Ma, but Matilda stopped him from using that term when they were off duty, and he agreed. As he was massaging her leg, Matilda commented that his girlfriend was very lucky to have him. He responded that he didn't have a girlfriend and that he was waiting to meet the right one before he started dating. Matilda, becoming increasingly attracted to him, moved closer and asked, "How can you know the right one?" She leaned in to kiss him, and they shared a romantic moment on the couch, eventually being intimate. The next day, their newfound relationship felt relaxing and enjoyable. They watched a movie together in the living room when they heard a knock on the door. Matilda, not expecting anyone, refused to answer until her phone rang, and she saw it was her friend, Sally. After ending the call, she quickly asked Dream to go upstairs and hide for a while she attended to her friend, promising to explain everything later. Reluctantly, he agreed and went upstairs. Matilda adjusted herself and welcomed Sally in, apologizing for the delay. Seeing snacks on the table and 2 glasses of wine, Sally realized a man was with her and began calling him out. However, Matilda stopped her and lied, saying it was Rosalind who had just left, which made Sally suspicious, but willing to believe her. Sally told Matilda to at least get herself a man for once, but Matilda replied that she was tired of relationship stress, going in and out of them before finding the right one. Sally then said she had come to spend the day with her because she was bored, leaving Matilda confused and anxious since Dream was still upstairs. Hours later, after Sally left, Matilda returned to the room, but Dream was already angry and disappointed, wanting to leave. Matilda romantically stopped him, and he gave in as they fell back onto the bed for more intimacy. Still on the bed, Dream confessed his feelings for Matilda, saying he had loved her from the first time he saw her. Matilda responded that she felt the same, and they both agreed it was love at first sight. Dream then asked about the next step in their relationship, but to his dismay, Matilda told him not to label what was happening between them, but to just enjoy the moment and not complicate things until they figured out their feelings. Dream attempted to express his emotions, but Matilda interrupted him with a kiss, ending the conversation. The following day, Dave, hearing that his friend Dream was involved with his boss, was disappointed and upset with him. He told Dream it wasn't right, as his boss was more successful than he was and didn't truly love him. She was merely using him to pass the time. Dream, however, dismissed Dave's concerns and unapologetically stated that he was in love with Matilda, adding, "You can't advise anyone who is in love," before walking away, leaving his friend heartbroken. Matilda and Dream's relationship continued, and they were enjoying the best moments of their lives together. They spent quality time cooking, playing, shopping, and returning home to have fun. One day at the office, they were sharing a moment in her office lounge when Sally entered. They quickly adjusted and acted normally, as if nothing had happened. Sally, seeing their behavior, asked what was going on, and Matilda quickly explained that Dream had only bought her lunch, leaving Sally surprised. Sally then confessed to Matilda that she had feelings for Dream and was interested in him. Although they had been talking, their discussions had been strictly about work. Dream had been helping her with a 3D design, and she praised his skills. However, she wanted more from him, believing that he liked her too, but hadn't expressed it out of respect for Matilda. This left Matilda speechless and shocked. "Unless there's something going on between you two, I won't push," Sally said. Matilda chuckled and replied that she didn't date lower-income individuals, expressing surprise that her friend was interested in someone like Dream. Sally became irritated by Matilda's words, correcting her that it was demeaning to speak about someone that way, as not everyone was fortunate enough to come from a wealthy background. Matilda, feeling proud, told Sally to pursue her interest in Dream, but warned her not to let it affect their work or show any disrespect toward her. Sally thanked her and left. Later that day, Dream came to Matilda's office to give his report, but did so with an attitude. As he was leaving, Matilda asked, "Have you been talking to my friend?" Dream stopped, turned to her, and replied, "Yes, I have, and it has been strictly business. I got paid for my work." Matilda did not believe him and accused him of being a broke guy, questioning his audacity to be involved with her while also pursuing her friend. Dream, already upset after overhearing Matilda's conversation with Sally, retorted, "Are you not ashamed to let the same guy take advantage of you?" Embarrassed, Matilda slapped him for insulting her, but Dream stood firm, asserting that he was right. She then attempted to slap him again, but he caught her hand. "Swear that you didn't enjoy the way I touched you. Tell me you don't want me to take you right now," Dream whispered seductively in her ear, arousing Matilda. She grabbed him and kissed him, but Dream stopped her, saying, "I thought as much. You were only using me for pleasure," and there were no emotions involved. He began to leave, but turned back to tell her he would go out with Sally instead because she had better taste in men than Matilda did. He walked away, heartbroken and disappointed, leaving Matilda disheartened. The next day, Dream went on a date with Sally, and she dropped him off at his gate. They shared a shy kiss and hug before Dream got out of the car. Later, Sally rushed to Matilda's house to share the exciting details of her date with Dream and how he kissed her. She told Matilda with enthusiasm that they were already dating. Matilda, heartbroken but not wanting to show it, excused herself and went inside, leaving Sally confused. The following day, Matilda invited Dream to her home and confessed her feelings for him. She apologized for her past behavior and acknowledged that she knew he was using Sally to get back at her. She admitted that it hurt deeply, but expressed her readiness to take him back. To her dismay, Dream refused, stating that he wanted to focus on his job and build his life, especially since he had his family depending on him. He reminded her that Sally loved him just as he was and wasn't ashamed to show him to the world. Seeing that Dream had made up his mind left Matilda feeling sad and heartbroken. He wished her the best in life and hoped she would find someone to love who would appreciate her. Matilda then stopped him, holding his face and asking him to look into her eyes and tell her he didn't feel anything for her anymore. Dream simply looked at her and stood up to leave in silence, leaving Matilda devastated as she broke down in tears. That night, Dream couldn't sleep as thoughts of Matilda consumed him when his phone rang. It was Sally, and he picked up abruptly. Sally informed him that she had traveled for a business trip and wanted to discuss something important. She shared that her boss had seen his 3D designs, loved them, and wanted to partner with him. If everything went well, he could become a partner in one of the biggest construction firms in Nigeria. Dream was ecstatic and immediately agreed, thanking her and ending the call with an "I love you." Days later, Matilda called Dream to confirm his resignation letter. Upon hearing that he had received a better offer, she congratulated him and asked for another chance. However, Dream had already moved on with his life and was no longer willing to be treated like a nobody, telling her unapologetically that it wasn't possible. This left Matilda heartbroken once more. The next day, Dream met with Sally in her car by the roadside. He began by thanking her for the opportunities she had given him, for loving him at his lowest, and for the incredible job that had changed his life. Dream wanted to say more, but didn't know where to start, prompting Sally to help him express his feelings. She smiled knowingly and mentioned that she understood he still loved Matilda. Dream, shocked, affirmed her observation and apologized for it. Sally, being the mature lady she was, confessed that she wasn't really the relationship type. She explained that the trip she mentioned was actually to meet another man, for which she also apologized. She encouraged Dream to pursue his feelings for Matilda, noting how dearly he loved her and how he had never crossed boundaries during their time together. Feeling indebted to Sally, Dream considered withdrawing from the partnership, but she stopped him and warned against it, reminding him that his skills spoke for themselves. Grateful, he thanked her again, and they both felt a sense of relief from their honest conversation, turning their relationship into a friendship. Days later, Matilda was in her room when she heard a knock at the door. To her surprise, it was Dream standing there. She welcomed him in, and he began to confess his heart to her, expressing that he was tired of trying to forget her. He admitted he had tried to love another woman, but it hadn't worked. His heart belonged solely to Matilda. After Dream finished expressing his feelings, Matilda remained silent, leaving him hurt and heartbroken, believing it was too late. He placed the flowers he had brought on the table, telling her that he still loved her no matter what, and not to forget that. Just as he stood to leave, Matilda stopped him, walked up to him, and confessed that her heart belonged to him too, and that she couldn't afford to lose him again. They dissolved their differences, becoming purposeful in their new relationship, and from that moment on, they began a beautiful journey together. So, what do you learn from this beautiful story? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for more interesting and latest Nigerian movie updates. See you next time.